Hello, welcome back to the Cutting Room Floor, the show where your favorite creator, me hopefully, sits down and talks about some fantastic projects. I know this show has changed a little bit than when we started it, but we'll talk about that later in the episode. Right now, get yourself comfy, get yourself something to drink, because we're talking about my 2024 short film, Demon Awakening. Let's get into it. Where do I begin with this one? It is... Oh, that was a good one, actually. I like... Hey, guys. But I think the door flying open now makes more sense.
What's gonna happen?
No, I'm aware that it was a paranormal activity. Where do I begin with this one? It is one of my favorites. There's a lot that I can improve on, and a lot that I would improve on, but I am very proud of it nonetheless. Demon Awakening. First of all, that wasn't in the name I thought of. Credit for that goes to Abby. I don't even remember what name I came up with for the short film, but I was lost. And Abby gave Demon Awakening. And man, that one stuck. But before we get into the production of it, I grew up watching Smosh, and this is relevant. Because if you watch it, I use like the night vision sleeping segment, like the music. I pulled that straight from the Paranormal Easy Bake Oven sketch from like 2011, I think. Because I grew up on Smosh. A lot of my inspirations and like there's so much that I've pulled from it and I've been inspired by. And one of those things was like I hadn't seen Paranormal Activity because 2011. I was 9. Maybe even 8 when it came out. Either way, I was young and I didn't really have a interest at all in horror movies, horror, anything. So I hadn't seen any of that. But Smosh came out with Paranormal Easy Bake Oven, which I loved. It's probably one of my favorite sketches. It's easily top 10 of all time from Smosh. And I just loved the basic premise of something weird's going on. They get the camera to record themselves while sleeping. Things progressively get worse night after night, and then you hit the end result of Ian's possessed and kills Anthony and then gets shot by the police. And I wasn't going to do the exact same thing. Mine also wasn't a comedy sketch. This was inspired. It's bounced between. It bounced. But I love that one. And obviously, knowing now, I'm aware that it was a Paranormal Activity and like inspired. But back then, did not know that. Which is okay. But I love that. And as I was getting into being, into my shoes of becoming this filmmaker, I think this was 2 years ago now. But I decided that I was going to make this bucket list. And I've had this list in many different forms. Notes, a note on my notes app, a document, a little notebook page. Right now it's a notebook, the front page of my film notebook, where I write down 99, maybe like 85%. Usually it's like 90. They come from my phone and I write them out there and I kind of expand on the ideas. It's like 90% of my video ideas in general, most of which I haven't made, are in this physical notebook because I just write easier in a notebook. I do like never mind. But I have this film notebook, and the first page in it is my film bucket list. It's what films I want to make. Like, it's like my dream things. And I cross things off. But I'm like, I also wouldn't mind taking another stab at this, like revisiting this. So it's not like I cross off the list and I can die happy. But it's like I can cross off the list and be like, wow, I feel really good. Now let's go back and try something different. Borrowed Ice, which we haven't talked about here. It's a time loop that was on the list. Romeo Protocol, spy movie, action movie list. Like all these different films I've made have been on this list. But then there's like, I want to revisit, like, found footage, Campus or Final Exposure, the better version of it. That found footage that's on the list. But also I want to make a better, I want to reattempt that and reapproach that genre. So like, it's a list of things I want to do, but it's not like a list of things that I do once and I move on. And one of those things was like a Paranormal Activity-esque ghost video, short film. I wanted to, the one thing I thought was really cool was figuring out how to do the ghost movements. And that had been something that always like was so daunting. I was like, ooh, that's a lot. But it was always on my list. I'm like, that looks so fun. Like, and just being able to like watch that back and be like, I can't actually see that. Like I watched the film and I was like, I remember doing that, but also I completely forgot some of the ghost things that I did. And I'm like, wow, like I really like what I did. I really am proud of that. And it was cool to do it. Because it's like, you also want to keep in mind that you don't want to get anything on camera. And when it came to filming this, there wasn't any big thing. It wasn't even like I spent weeks like thinking about it and getting ready. It pretty much was a case of I had some free time and I sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm going to film a short film. I wrote up a little, not even a script, just like an outline. I was like, yeah, so I got Liam introduces it. Night 1, this ghost thing happens. Liam talks about what happened. Night 2, this thing happens. Abby's introduced, and she's the skeptic that kind of pokes holes in the whole story as Liam's starting to believe. Night 3, it all goes wrong. Which, what happened? I would, again, approaching it now, in the aftermath, I would definitely change a couple of things around, but for the time being, I love it. But getting ahead of ourselves, I just decided to go from like, I can film this myself. I don't need a whole crew. I don't need a cast. It's static cameras or it's me holding the camera. I was very much going off of the whole Paranormal Activity, haunted house, Smosh, like that, the way they did those, where it was security footage, what I didn't have, but I had just gone for my birthday, and this was what really tipped me into doing this, was I wanted a night vision camera, and I was like, oh, I'll take one of our old security cameras. Or my birthday, I got a night vision camera. I was like, this is perfect. And so I just set up the whole rig for it. I'm like, hey, this is my security camera. We're doing this. And I just went for it. And yeah, it was a different experience. It brought me back to doing things on my own. I like to make projects with people helping me. And like, so it's not just me. But it was different and it was fun. It was a fun challenge. I talk a lot. Like I've said this like multiple times. Is this the only thing that happens? Or I should have done a smaller door move. It's sick. I think I would have done smaller door movement, like just barely moving in hindsight. It's a big movement. It's not something that could be disproved. I think build up the anticipation more, like smaller, easier to disprove stuff. Like that is just not easy to disprove. It was night 3 when the multiple oh, that was a good one actually. I like that one. That's probably my favorite ghost thing. The demon. The making of it. Wow, it was different. Obviously the first thing I had to figure out was I kind of come up with like, night 1 ghostly activity. Night 2, let's up it a little bit, which I upped it a lot. Night 3, like up it more. And I think I would have done it now, maybe more nights to extend it. But back then I was like, hey, 3 nights. Night 1, what do we want to do? Door. And I had this I had fishing line. And I was like, hey, we can use the fishing line for the ghost stuff. Because it shouldn't catch on the camera. And then I could just pretend, like I can just not show it when I'm doing like the reacting to security footage scenes, which I did. But getting to actually like the production of it all and getting into it, fish like broke trying to do the door every time. I like get, I'm like, okay, I got good snap. So the door, unfortunately, I couldn't do myself. I had to get my little brother Caldiv, and luckily I had framed the security camera to the point where you couldn't directly see the wall, the door to the wall. So there was room for some hiding there. So I have him push the door open, and I honestly looking like I was like, "Hey, open the door! Like you're a ghost. The door's gonna open." And you're just gonna leave it. And it took a couple of takes because I think a couple, like when he pushed so hard it went there, bounced, and came all the way back. And I was like, that looks like someone pushed it. I think once his hand was caught on camera. Like there was a couple of takes that were needed. But it was I would say it was great. Personally, I found it really fun. But I mean, that being said, that was the easy one. The next one was figuring out, because I was originally going to do everything myself and I realized I couldn't. I was going to roll in bed and I was going to pull fishing line. I gave myself a wicked, like, cut off of circulation doing that when I was practicing. Because I got fishing, like, line wrapped around, I think it was like my leg. Because I was trying to do the drawer and I was trying to figure it out. So it's like, oh, like if I can wrap it around like my calf and then it wrap around my foot and then have it there. So it's like that gives the angle to pull it out. One, I almost pulled the whole thing down, which would have been really bad because my computer was on there. And two, I didn't. Well, that was the first attempt. The second attempt, I was like, okay, I gotta like maybe tighten it a little bit. And instead of moving anything there, I just pulled it and it was like, that hurt. And I was like, I can't do the ghost stuff myself. I need someone to help. So like rigged up the drawer, which was just like fishing line around the handle. I rigged up the door, which I think was just like fishing line around the screw on the inside of the door. And then the ring was, it was just fishing line around that. And I was worried I was going to drop my head. And then, of course, my favorite one was the jacket, my jean jacket that I had hanging on my door. That was my favorite ghost activity of the whole thing. Because the way we did it was we looped it through, like we looped it around the button, but not the bottom. It was like the second button up. And we had to get it. This one took forever, so many takes. Because we had to get it where it was on the hook enough that it wasn't going to fall accidentally. But like off the hook enough that you could pull on the fishing line and it would fall. Does that make sense? I feel like that doesn't make sense. Yeah, so it took so many takes because it was on the hook too much and we broke the amount of times we broke the fishing line. Ridiculous. Oh my gosh. That actually got so annoying, the pulling on the fishing line, snap. And originally it wasn't going to be the first paranormal activity, but I was like, I'm getting tired of, or originally it was going to be like the last one or something. And I was like, I'm getting tired of it. And I was like, if this take doesn't go well, it's going to be the first one that happens. And I didn't want it to be the first one that happened. Like, I'm tired of having a take go completely wrong because the jacket. And so get down there, and Calv, because of where the camera was, there was like a little bit of space right by like where my couch was. And so he was like crunched on the ground, holding on to all this different fishing wire because of course my room, the lights are out, it's dark. And I've turned my computer off, so there's no like light in there, and he can't have a flashlight because you will see it on the camera. And so he's got it, and he's trying to remember, like, okay, pull this one. And so he goes, drawer out, easy. Jean jacket off, easy. I'm like, oh, like I'm lying there, like, this is going so well. I can't mess this up now because we haven't really practiced the last ghost thing, the ring sides are falling, and then me jumping in and be like, what? And I was like, if I mess this up, I'm gonna crash out. Like I'm gonna have to do editing magic or something, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the jean jacket again. Door happens. And then I'm laying there and I'm like, what if the rings fall on my head? And I think that's what I originally told Caleb to do. I'm like, just pull the rings off. If they fall on my head, they fall on my head. That's what wakes me. And so you like get a tug, and then I have to say I'm very glad he didn't actually drop it on my head, because that would have hurt. But he pulls it and it goes flying. And I think it looks great. You can't see the fishing line. I can't see the fishing line. And I jump up and I give I would say a passable performance for that. Not winning any Oscars here. But nevertheless, we do all that. Cut to the next day stuff, and Abby's here. Because Abby's here for this filming part. So excited. She's actually been here, I think, for most of the time, but she just didn't want to be the one pulling on all the stuff, because she didn't want to be laying on the ground, which I get. I didn't want to either. We did a little scene. I'm like, you're completely skeptical. You do not believe. You do not. She's like, you give it like a script, and I'm like, nope, you just do not believe. Okay, I am speaking. I am crazy to you. I sound like a nutcase. And yeah, I think it's fun to see her being like, well, could have been the cat. Well, your window looks open. You could have kicked it open. I'm like, it's so fun. She's so good at acting like she hates me, which is the funny thing. It's funny to be like, when I'm like, do you want to stay here? No. Well, can I stay with you? No. You have to like face your fears or something. Probably my favorite line in the entire thing is when I'm like, can I stay with you? I'm scared. And she's like, face your fears. Like, you're not gonna stay with me. Now you're like Liam, you're haunted. Just not a chance. Which I respect. But we get going. And so that's her only scene. She's done. I'm like, hey, now he's gotta film night 3. We're almost there. And so for night 3, we do the whole ghost stuff. I get up and I'm like, hey, for this part, I want to be caught on camera. I'm like, security camera. I'm realizing now when the doors open, doesn't see enough in the hallway for you to actually see me get dragged. So I'm like, okay, here's what we gotta do. So I come out and I dropped my knees and I boom, thump on the ground. And then I'm like, okay, now we need to hear the dragging. So like, Abby drag me. So I like quietly fall to the floor, and I'm like, okay, now pull me like hard enough that you can hear it. And so she's pulling me, and you're like, and you're like, you're hearing me on the ground. I'm like, is this working? Is this working? And we finished, and we wrap, and that's it. And I'm like, okay, now I gotta sit down. And much like the Smosh or Paranormal Activity, I sit down for editing, and I'm like, okay, on October, I don't know, the day is like October 4th, 2024, Liam began documenting activity in his house. 3 days later, he disappeared. He's not been seen since. We like to thank the family for releasing the photo, whatever it is I put as the preamble. And and I go through and I do the editing, and I pull the sound. Like I've always imagined doing my like ghost Paranormal Activity footage film with that sound. I'm gonna pull it because I can't find it. I was like, okay, sitting there like, what more do I need to do? The demon noises. I will fully admit, probably one of my bigger missteps with this project. They are terrible. I don't remember what I did, but I know I took a sound effect instead of I don't know why I didn't do it myself. Because I do that all the time. If I can't find the sound effect, I make the sound effect myself. But I didn't, for whatever reason. And so I get it. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And I can't tell you what sound effect it is. And I like drop the bass. Sorry, distracted. I drop the bass way down. I slow it down. Like, that sounds good enough to be my demon growl. And I like, hey, Abby, time for you to see it. And Abby hates horror movies. She does not watch horror, anything. Little look into my life, I love to watch like horror videos on YouTube. I will watch scary camping compilations where it's like clips or like videos of people being like camping and like hearing noises in the woods. Abby hates those. Abby does not mess with anything spooky, scary, anything like that. So I was like, will you watch it? And she's like, well, yeah, it's just you. I'm like, really? Like, I'm hoping for it to be kind of scary-ish. And she watched it and she's like, yeah, that's not scary. But it's good. I was like, good is good enough for me. I'll take the good. And she's like, yeah, like, I actually enjoyed it. I thought that was fun. And I was like, thank you. Like, I do as well. And I don't know. I have to say, Demon Awakening, it was a different beast. I think I liked the like practical effects and the ghost stuff. I thought that was fun, and it was exactly what I was looking to do with it. So, uber proud. Proud guy right here. Proud guy. Yeah, if you haven't seen Demon Awakening, definitely go check it out. I would recommend checking it out. Also like that one. I'd say I'm also proud of that one. I think my favorite ghost thing is the jacket. Jacket, door, rings. I kind of want to do this again. That's such a good one, and she did a really good job in her role. She does such a great job at just seeming so disinterested. Door flying open, but I think the door flying open now makes more sense than the first night. I think the first night should have been the jacket or maybe the drawer. And with that, that's the end of the 8th episode of The Cutting Room Floor. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Did you enjoy it? Do you like Demon Awakening? Is this your first time hearing about it? Do you hate it? Please don't tell me. If you hate it, don't tell me in the comments. I have soft feelings. I don't want to cry. Don't make me cry, please. But I love praise. So if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. I live on praise. Just don't make me cry. Also, let me know what your favorite ghost activity was in the film. I have to say, I love the jean jacket. I just think it looks the best, and it's the most fun one for me, despite me hating it. But maybe you have a different favorite. So let me know in the comments down below what your favorite ghost activity was in the film. And let me know what you want me to see me talk about next. All right, let's get a little casual. First off, thanks so much for watching today's episode. Now it's time to talk about things that are changing. Obviously, things have changed. For one, we're not sitting at my desk, which isn't a new thing. But we're a little more lounged back, a little more relaxed. I've changed up the flow of a little bit. That's because this show is evolving. I know it's only episode 8, but I've been doing it for a couple months now. This show needs to evolve because I don't want to start another show for what The Cutting Room Floor is going to become. You heard in the title. Your favorite creator, hopefully it's me, talking about some fantastic projects. I want to thank this comment, which was on not the last episode, but the 6th episode of The Cutting Room Floor, which was talking about Smile, because it kind of got me thinking. And yeah, there's a finite number of projects that I can talk about that I've made. And there's a finite number of projects that I could talk about that I can for sure get people to come talk about. Not in a bad way. But also the way that the show was set up, sitting at my desk like that, I did not know. I realized that I don't know how to incorporate guests, other people talking about their projects. It just in my mind didn't work. So obviously I knew that needed to change, and I needed to figure out how exactly I would bring on a guest if we're going to talk about their project. But yeah, that comment, it really made me think about the fact that, yeah, I don't have a million things to talk about unless we're going to talk about every single individual episode of the Cult of Mara series, which we're not. I've avoided talk. We are going to be talking about that and covering that in the series, this show. But we're not going through episode by episode, so don't worry about that. We are, however, going to continue talking about my projects while also talking about my favorite projects. That may be shows, movies, video games. I don't know. I still don't have that figured out. Other projects that I just see, but I don't have the personal connection with the creator to talk about. Either way, I'm still going to be sitting here chatting about it and giving my thoughts. I hope you guys come back and watch. It's going to be changing. Things are still going to be changing from here. When I move, it'll be obviously a different set. But also, I'm just trying to figure out what this show is going to be. The Cutting Room Floor is a kind of talk show for me, and I'm enjoying that. I just want to make sure that this is the best version of the show that I can give to you guys and I can put out there, because I want to be proud of this. And I am. I want to evolve it so that it's really in that perfect place for taking it to where it needs to go. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about. Just want to let you know that blanking on the word. It's not breadth. But the project that this show is going to encapsulate is not going to move beyond my own. I'm going to be talking about projects. I'm going to still focus on talking about my own creative projects, but just to give myself a chance, because making the list, I don't even have enough projects that I have currently made to make it throughout the year. I don't think I have enough to make to my birthday if we were doing this weekly, which is the plan still. So we're going to have to intersperse some other projects, talk about some other stuff. And hey, this show is going to evolve. We'll see. It is still going to stay on this channel for now, but if it comes necessary, I might move it to its own channel. But we're gonna let it breathe here and see what happens. That being said, I love you all to death. Don't forget to stay sweet. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I know uploads have been a little wacky. I've just been feeling a little wacky lately. It's across all the channels, so it's not just you guys here on the main channel. All the channels have been feeling that. I do apologize. I have videos that I'm editing, but I don't know. I'll get into this more on the vlog channel, so obviously subscribe down below if you haven't already to this channel, the vlog channel, or I'll even link the podcast and the gaming channel. Okay, all of them linked down below. Check out Demon Awakening if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in another episode of The Cutting Room Floor if you're a fan of this, or just another video in general on this channel very, very soon.